Once the heavenly demon formation fully activated, countless fiery threads imbued with the sacred power of sacred flame cascaded down, resembling the Milky Way falling from the heavens above, slowly pouring onto White King Mingfeng, enveloping him. The overwhelming aura of divine purification continuously cleansed and devoured the lingering black flames within the formation, but White King Mingfeng remained perfectly still, almost as if waiting for something. Evil God's mark. Just as Xiao Yin was taken by surprise, a terrifying roar that reverberated through the heavens and earth burst from White King Mingfeng's mouth. Whom! It was a bloodstone, roughly the size of a fist, but radiating a dreadful aura that made Xiao Yin instinctively recoil in fear. Within the bloodstone, a sinister, malevolent vibration emanated, and upon its appearance, the various forces within Xiao Yan's body quieted as if suppressed by this overwhelming presence. Swish! The next moment, the bloodstone emitted a sharp, crisp sound as it vibrated slightly, transforming into powerful black shadows that crawled forth, their aura deep and unfathomable like an abyss. What kind of power is this? Sweat uncontrollably dripped from Xiao Yan's forehead, and even his clan's spiritual mark, bloodline, and other powers instinctively surged forth to protect him, as though they were reacting to an unseen danger. It felt as though with his current strength, he could not resist the evil strike of White King Mingfeng. This is the evil god's item, the Bloodstone Soul Command. Little brat, it seems there will be great upheaval in the extraterritorial realm. How about we play a little game? The Bloodstone's call echoed loudly, and a powerful force continued to descend, suppressing Xiao Yin, but a gentle voice suddenly rang in his mind. Who's there? Emperor Flame Ring? Xiao Yan's first thought was the ancient aura residing within the Emperor Flame Ring, but after checking, he found nothing. Do not panic. Though I am only a spiritual body, it should pose no harm to you. The gentle voice spoke again, causing Xiao Yan's body to tremble violently. You are the spirit of the god-slaying ruler? After a moment, a bold guess flashed through Xiao Yan's mind. That master was indeed a true artifact forger, capable of completely refining and repairing the first part of the god-slaying ruler. He even managed to awaken me, who had been left dormant within the divine artifact. Though, in the end, he died from overexertion. We're running out of time, kid. Are you interested? The spirit of the divine artifact muttered again. All right. As you say, senior. Xiao Yin nodded solemnly. Control of your body will be temporarily handed over to me. As the voice finished, a golden light flashed from Xiao Yan's body, and his eyes were instantly replaced by a golden glow. Boom! The evil entity finally descended, and Xiao Yan's hands pushed upwards, unleashing an overwhelming torrent of sacred flame fire. However, it was noticeably different from the previous aura. As for the heavenly demon formation beside him, it showed no sign of operation, as if it had temporarily lost its control. Xiao Yin now attempted to use the purest physical strength to confront White King Mingfeng's strongest blow. Such a fool. Fall. The black flames and bloodstone swung, and black vortexes formed, distorting the void, as they slowly began to seep into Xiao Yan's body. Poof! Xiao Yan's pupils constricted slightly, and then his chest heaved violently as a mouthful of bright red blood spurted out, containing ripples from the Xiao clan's bloodline. Damn it! With the protection of sacred flame, how is it possible that it can't completely erase his control? Looking at Xiao Yan's drastic change, White King Mingfeng, resembling a cunning rabbit, swiftly moved to Xiao Yan's side. Seeing him in a near-death state, he sneered. What kind of power is this? Why can it resist or even ignore my sacred flame fire? Xiao Yin clutched his chest, looking pale as he stared at White King Mingfeng, hesitating. True, the sacred flame fire is powerful, but what I hold is the evil god's item. Could you, with your mere second-tier reincarnation stage, resist it? Having multiple sacred flames under your control is such a waste. Had it not been for the orders of the evil god, I would have obliterated you today. Seeing Xiao Yin in such a state, White King Mingfeng immediately withdrew the Bloodstone and then roared. Bloodstone's power. Evil method. Control. The blood-red fluctuations and black flames surged once again, transforming into an unbreakable black shackles that wrapped around Xiao Yan's body. Ah! Countless wails of despair poured from Xiao Yan's mouth as the evil forces slowly infiltrated his body, draining all traces of sacred flame energy. However, neither Xiao Yan nor the spirit of the god-slaying ruler had anticipated that White King Mingfeng's actions would inadvertently complete the filling of the demonic cube. Clearly, the possessor of this evil god's item was not to be underestimated. After taking a deep breath, Xiao Yan finally lost all traces of vitality, and an ominous, evil aura spread out from his body. Let's go. It's time to deal with that troublesome matter in the Ashfire realm. This time, the entire immortal realm will be crawling at our feet. Ha ha ha. With the black flames fading away, a chilling, eerie laugh erupted like thunder. Yes, master. At this moment, a faint black ripple appeared in Xiao Yan's eyes, and he respectfully addressed the White King Netherwind in front of him. After speaking, the two quietly stepped out from the special space and headed towards certain areas of the Ashfire realm. As they left, an eerie smile flashed across Xiao Yan's lips. Strangely enough, since their battle, there had been no trace of Xiao Yan or the White King Netherwind appearing in the external crystal records. It was as if some powerful force had interfered. Strange, why can't I see Xiao Yan's whereabouts anymore? Xun'er, in the outside world, looked at the crystal recording Xiao Yan's movements, which remained blank. She immediately felt a little worried. Little girl, come here. Just as she hesitated, a silent voice reached her soul, and Xun'er quietly left the void. A few minutes later, she reappeared. Strange. Why does Xun'er's aura feel a little off compared to before she left? Is it just my imagination? After returning, Xun'er stood silently in the void, staring intently at the crystal mirrors as if lost in thought. However, amidst the large crowd, many complex voices began to rise. Meanwhile, far in the immortal realm, atop a lush forest, a man and a woman embraced each other. The man was handsome, exuding a faint but undeniable domineering aura. The woman, slightly delicate, was enchanting and beautiful, like a fairy. Around them, life energy continuously surged from the colorless, transparent lake in front of them, quietly flowing into their bodies. The most striking feature was a strange weapon resembling a spear or halberd beside the man. Heavens! Your expression has been off lately. Do you have something on your mind? The woman gently peeked out of the man's embrace and softly asked. Xiao Yan seems to be in some trouble. Forget it. Let's go deal with the 10 Kings of Hell. These guys are probably facing some danger right now. After all, I owe the Xiao clan a favor. The man spoke with a carefree tone, his voice rough and commanding, leaving no room for doubt. As you wish. But your strength? The woman, hearing this, gently rested her forehead on the man's chest, listening to his heartbeat. The divine artifact is back. The origin has been repaired. Life returns to its true form. I should be able to transcend the tribulation now. I really want to see the strongest being beyond the evil god level from the extraterritorial evil clan for the first time. The man's voice boomed like thunder, causing a sudden gale to sweep through the heavens. Countless divine lightning bolts, resembling a true divine seat, descended from the sky. Upon closer inspection, there were as many as 7 rounds of reincarnation, 7 rounds of heavenly tribulation, equivalent to the peak of the 9th-tier reincarnation stage. In the Ashfire realm, Netherwind, what is this? By the edge of a magma volcano, 3 shadowy figures stood together, but 2 of them focused their gazes on a rather peculiar figure. This is Xiao Yan, the Lord of the Infinite Flame Territory. He's also the primary target designated by the evil god for capture. He's now in my hands. Netherwind sneered, his voice filled with rare pride and disdain. Indeed, it's him. But the Lord of the Infinite Flame Territory is said to have many sacred flames and countless trump cards. How could you have captured him? The 2 men among the group glanced at Xiao Yan before shaking their heads, their expressions grave. With the evil god's item in my possession, taming this guy was quite easy. Netherwind's face showed an expression of delight as he looked at Xiao Yin, who stood silently behind him. He felt an indescribable pleasure. This descendant of the Xiao clan, who had once slain several of the extraterritorial evil clan, was now reduced to his prisoner, a great satisfaction indeed. Once he wins the alchemy conference again and beats all the immortal realm's proud alchemists, the true disaster will begin. Watching those soulless, decaying creatures panic in fear will make it all the more meaningful. This matter seems suspicious. To ensure that the master's plan goes smoothly, I'll inspect it myself. Among the three, only the woman in the black shadow shook her head and stared at Xiao Yin for a long time before speaking. Suimo, you don't trust me? I possess the evil god's item, so there's no room for doubt. Besides, don't forget the current situation. Hearing Sumo's voice, Ming Feng's lips curled into a sneer, and he let out a low growl, his anger and killing intent spreading out like a wildfire. Ming Feng, although? Sumo's eyes narrowed as he was about to speak again, but he was stopped by a mysterious man beside him. No need to say anything more. Since the situation has reached this point, let's go ahead and face the second trial. After Suimo was stopped, the mysterious man spoke quietly, but it was clear he had his own concerns. This man, known as by Wang Yuan, had a crafty, strategist-like appearance. Suimo, though, was the one with the more intricate mind, clearly in control of the larger situation. Together with Ming Feng, the three of them were powerful figures at the king level of the extraterritorial evil clan, their strength bolstered by the power of the evil god, putting them at the second-tier reincarnation stage. Boom! Just as they finished speaking, the Ashfire realm suddenly erupted with a series of thunderous sounds, like the roars of maddened beasts. Let's go! Their figures flickered as they made their way toward the core of the Ashfire realm, while Xiao Yin appeared dazed, following quietly behind them. Senior, it's up to you now. Xiao Yan's consciousness, hidden within the sea of Do Qi, quietly communicated. If this trip to the immortal realm is part of a grand scheme for its destruction, would you try to change it? Or, do you have the courage to step forward? There are some old acquaintances of yours in the immortal realm. During their movement, the spirit of the divine artifact and Xiao Yin exchanged words in secret. Destruction scheme? Acquaintances? Xiao Yan's consciousness was slightly dizzy, clearly struggling to understand the spirit of the god-slaying ruler's words. You only need to choose, save or not save. The spirit of the divine artifact seemed to know much more, though it spoke in riddles. Save. Xiao Yin replied indifferently. Good. The spirit of the divine artifact said with a slight hint of approval, and immediately, Xiao Yan's body fell into a state of calm, following the three evil figures toward the heart of the Ashfire realm. Boom! At the moment they moved, a dark red beam of light shot up from the horizon, reaching into the sky. Under the watch of many alchemists, it charged into the skies above the Ashfire realm. As the dark red flame surged, the entire void began to collapse slightly, emitting a series of ear-piercing rumbling sounds. In an instant, a massive vortex nearly 1,000 feet wide slowly emerged from the sky. Within the vortex, countless colorless and silver ashes, resembling sand grains, fell from the sky, making the entire void look eerie. Waves of terrifying sound reverberated through the air, shaking people's hearts. Someone has unlocked soul perception? Has it awakened the guardian beast? That place is the core of the Ashfire realm. Go! Charge! As the strange sound waves echoed, countless fiery gazes turned toward the core of the realm. Ancient beast, mystic chicken of the spirit eye. A hoarse voice slowly emerged from some of the weaker alchemists, their faces pale under the immense pressure. The aura was so strong that even alchemists beneath the reincarnation stage could barely move. Looking up, within the vortex filled with countless dark red flames, space twisted, and eerie chains made of dark red fire began to emerge. These chains seemed to bind and suppress an ancient creature. People's gazes slowly moved deeper into the twisted void within the vortex. There, dark red liquid began to materialize, and with the surging power, a shadow, hundreds of feet tall, was tightly bound by the dark red fire chains. Mystic chicken of the spirit eye? The legendary ancient beast that can control other souls? But isn't this ancient creature supposed to be extinct? Wait, look at the creature's head. Soul divine source. As this scene unfolded, some of the more perceptive alchemists couldn't contain their excitement, their voices filled with ecstasy. A single drop of soul divine source was enough to give them a chance to break through the essence transformation stage and enter the spirit wandering realm. Charge! No matter the danger, we must get the soul divine source. Even though they knew the dark red vortex was full of peril, after a brief moment of hesitation, dozens of people rushed in. More and more figures began to gather, surrounding the edge of the fiery vortex, but no one dared to take the first step. At this moment, sinister black figures emerged from the distant magma world. Is that Xiao? Hua Qianqian, already stationed here, furrowed her brows. Why is Xiao with those three? His expression and condition seem off. The briar demon child in the distance slightly stirred, a rare feeling of dread washing over him. Hemph, since you're acquaintances, I'll give you all a special gift. Hearing the words of Netherwind, Hua Qianqian and the others couldn't help but feel a slight tension in their hearts, as though some ominous premonition was creeping in. Attack! Keep them busy. Netherwind commanded Xiao, and instantly, the usually calm Xiao's gaze became fierce and bloodthirsty. A terrifying surge of evil energy slowly shot out from his eyes, and an invisible wave of dark power, like chains, locked onto the briar demon child and Hua Qianqian. Both of them looked at each other in confusion, but when they were gazed at by the temporarily corrupted Xiao, their bodies couldn't help but tremble. A sense of overwhelming suppression swept over their hearts. This is strange. Xiao's aura, something doesn't feel right. Seeing this, the briar demon child and Hua Qianqian exchanged glances and spoke in unison. Both of them had fought Xiao before, and they could tell that his aura and combat style were completely different from before. Moreover, his behavior now seemed particularly strange. Attack! They cannot be allowed to get ahead. Seeing Xiao block the path of the two powerful warriors first, other ambitious figures began to move, drifting near the edge of the fiery vortex. To break through the vortex and enter deeper for the soul divine source clearly required an intense battle. Damn it! This alchemy conference is filled with so many strong opponents. Suemo, White King Abyss, attack together and block them. Only by completely stopping or killing them can the soul divine source fall into our hands. As the words fell, violent clashes erupted in the sky above the Ashfire realm, accompanied by continuous rumbling energy ripples. Xiao, Hua Qianqian, and the briar demon child were stopped by Xiao. Feeling the rising evil aura from his body, they immediately spoke out. Kill! The corrupted Xiao ignored them, lightly raising his palm. A surge of black flames emerged, and the overwhelming killing intent made the expressions of the two grow heavy. What kind of flame is this? Such a strange power. Where's his sacred flame energy? Watching Xiao's bizarre movements, the briar demon child narrowed his eyes slightly. Die! Raising his hand again, the black flames mysteriously formed a complex pattern. With the power of Xiao's dough formation, the sinister killing intent was suffocating. Moments later, Xiao swung his hand, and a massive black flame hammer, empowered by the formation patterns, shot towards Hua Qianqian and the briar demon child. The void twisted and collapsed, suffocating them. Boom! What seemed like a simple swing actually contained an overwhelming amount of evil and strange power. Though it didn't hit the two directly, a massive void crack, 100 feet wide, was forcibly torn open next to them. At the edges of the crack, black evil flames flickered, sending a faint sense of suppression into the hearts of those nearby. We can't hold back any longer. Let's knock him out first. Clearly, after several previous battles, an unspoken bond had formed between the three of them. Hua Qianqian and the briar demon child exchanged glances and spoke in unison. Floral god technique, sound of 10,000 flowers. A strange fragrance emanated from Hua Qianqian's body, and in an instant, She transformed into a colorful stream of sound waves, spreading out from her delicate body like a blooming flower. The terrifying power and the intoxicating fragrance were like a deadly poison, carrying destructive fury as they spread outward. Tear. The holy, pure power of the flower's sound caused the corrupted Xiao Yan's expression to flicker. Even the black flame hammer in his hand trembled slightly. Briar prison, endless suppression. Though the Briar demon child wasn't sure about the situation, seeing this, he raised his hand and formed a series of complex seals. The surrounding void collapsed, and eerie, dark thorny vines surged out, forming an impenetrable net to restrain Xiao Yan. The corrupted Xiao Yan showed no sign of displeasure from the attack. He merely curled his lips into a strange smile as the black flame hammer shattered, turning into a wave of evil energy that spread outward. Thud. Though Hua Qianqian and the Briar demon child were formidable, after launching their powerful attacks, they hadn't even had a chance to recover before Xiao Yan's counterattack hit them. Both of them coughed up blood uncontrollably, and fresh blood dripped from their mouths. What is this? As they suffered such injuries, Hua Qianqian tried to rise again to continue the battle but found a pure soul energy within her body. This energy clearly wasn't natural, but foreign. Could it have come from the energy ripple that followed the black flame hammer of the corrupted Xiao Yan? The soul light ball was weak, but it seemed to contain some kind of information. Within the soul light sphere, there were only 4 words, but they caused the usually sharp-witted Hua Qianqian to sense something. Her eyes flickered back and forth on the evil Xiao Yan. Taking advantage of the moment when the Netherwind was distracted, the evil Xiao Yan immediately nodded. Damn you, let's see. The Briar demon child, unaware of this, stood up and erupted with even darker, more terrifying demonic energy around him, attempting to launch a more vicious attack on the evil Xiao Yan. Move. Wiping the blood from the corner of her mouth, Hua Qianqian shot a hateful glance at Xiao Yan. After a moment, she snarled at the Briar demon child. Xiao Yan, go get the soul divine source. The others, including the Netherwind, were also entangled in their own battles. In order to avoid revealing too much of their strength and hidden secrets, they could only use a fraction of their power. Seeing Xiao Yan effortlessly defeat 2 extremely troublesome opponents, they couldn't help but feel overjoyed. Understood. The evil Xiao Yan watched as Hua Qianqian fled swiftly, then immediately darted toward the depths of the fiery vortex. There was the binding place of the ancient beast, the mystic chicken of the spirit eye, and also the location of the soul divine source. Is this the mystic chicken of the spirit eye? The evil Xiao Yan moved with great speed, breaking through the defense lines almost in the blink of an eye. He was now very close to the ancient beast. As his gaze landed on the mystic chicken of the spirit eye, which was tightly bound by dark red flames, the beast's ancient body, which had never stirred before, seemed to be subtly pulled, and it began to tremble slowly. Just as the evil Xiao Yan prepared to act and retrieve the soul divine source, the ancient beast suddenly opened its eyes. A pair of azure spiritual eyes seemed to pierce through the barriers of time and space, directly colliding with Xiao Yan's gaze. Buzz buzz. As their eyes met, Xiao Yan's head suddenly shook violently. A brutal, unexplained force surged from deep within him, attempting to replace his rational mind and take control of him. This is bad. The Netherwind, who was battling at a distance, saw the evil ripples in Xiao Yan's eyes slowly fade, replaced by a surge of crimson, violent killing intent. His whole body was engulfed in black energy, and he forcefully shook off his opponent, heading straight for the mystic chicken of the spirit eye. He had finally gained control of Xiao Yan. If the mystic chicken of the spirit eye interfered with his plans, it would be a disaster. Heh, Netherwind. It's time to show some real skills. Just as the Netherwind was about to forcefully leave the battlefield, several powerful alchemists intercepted him. Xiao Yan, get the soul divine source now. A howling voice rang out as 3 black figures broke through the crowd's blockade, heading straight for the mystic chicken of the spirit eye. However, no matter how powerful their attacks were, they were all blocked by the formidable alchemists. Anyone who could enter the fiery vortex to snatch the soul divine source was certainly not an easy opponent. Such terrifying ancient beasts. Xiao Yan's soul trembled slightly. If it weren't for his half-step divine wanderer state, that terrifying gaze from the ancient beast would have been enough to make him lose his sanity completely. Roar, roar, roar. The clash of scorching flames and violent energy continued to surge around the edge of the fiery vortex. The void around it trembled violently, on the verge of collapse. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan and two strangely moving figures had already broken through the crowd's obstruction, entering the fiery vortex and heading straight for the location of the soul divine source. Buzz buzz. The evil Xiao Yan gritted his teeth to suppress the dizziness in his mind, then stopped hundreds of meters away from the mystic chicken of the spirit eye. Such an ancient creature, if judged by its danger alone, was probably no less threatening than some of the reincarnation stage experts at the third tier of humanity. What are you waiting for? Move now. A nearly irresistible demonic voice echoed in Xiao Yan's mind, with a subtle trace of an attempt to dominate his actions. The evil Xiao Yan did not act rashly. Dark flames surged from his eyes, quietly watching the two figures who were heading toward the mystic chicken of the spirit eye's body. Those dark flames were the evil power used by the White King, Netherwind, to control Xiao Yan. Though they could not compare to sacred flame, the power contained within them truly moved Xiao Yan. Swish, swish. The two dark figures' bodies shook violently. Just as they were about to reach the ancient beast's body, they were suddenly bounced back by some mysterious force. Damn it! Although they were sent flying, the hatred in their eyes remained fixed on the mystic chicken of the spirit eye, especially on the transparent liquid droplet that stood atop the mystic chicken's crown. This transparent liquid was tiny, but upon closer inspection, it was clear that it contained soul fluctuations, subtly surpassing the soul level of all the alchemists present. That was the soul power of the spirit-wandering realm, a drop of soul divine source. Step aside. The evil Xiao Yan waved his sleeve, and immediately countless dark flames surged from his body. These flames formed a fiery storm around the mystic chicken of the spirit eye's body. Such evil fluctuations. Hua Qianqian and the Briar demon child, who had just escaped the scene, exchanged a glance. They now understood Xiao Yan's intentions, but they did not expose him. The two were stopped and momentarily unable to break through the restraints of the black flame storm. At that very instant, within the fiery vortex, countless pairs of eyes were fixed on evil Xiao Yan. Ha ha ha. Attack. White King Netherwind watched evil Xiao Yan's swift and decisive actions, unable to hold back a loud laugh. You despicable scoundrels. Facing White King Netherwind stood a beautiful woman with fiery red hair. At this moment, she held a fiery red braid in her hand, which emitted a dangerously sharp curve. Whoosh whoosh. With the protection of the black flame storm, evil Xiao Yan suddenly had an evil cloud form beneath his feet, directly launching him towards the crown of the woman's head. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The crisp sound of a rooster crowing echoed, and that sound, so close, made evil Xiao Yan's dark power quickly fade. Can't let the evil power be completely dispelled. Evil Xiao Yan gritted his teeth, then leaped over the massive beast's body, landing beneath it. He was now in close proximity to the feathers and body of the spirit eye mystic chicken, and an overwhelming sense of insignificance rose within him. Poof! Just as evil Xiao Yan was about to reach the place where the soul divine source was stored, the spirit eye mystic chicken's eyes showed a hint of disdain, and countless sealed azure feathers, carrying an ancient and profound fluctuation, slowly unfurled. That's the spirit eye? Evil Xiao Yan was shocked to the core, his soul power uncontrollably surging to protect him, as if those eyes were filled with an extremely terrifying energy. Don't look into its eyes. Even though they were 1,000 meters away, everyone in the fire vortex clearly saw that the spirit eye mystic chicken's wings were covered with countless compound eyes. Those compound eyes seemed to belong to some powerful creature, their gaze so intense that it caused a sense of disorientation. A strong sense of unease spread from the bottom of everyone's hearts. After the spirit eye mystic chicken awoke, it spread its wings and gave a disdainful glance around. Immediately, the atmosphere within the entire fiery vortex turned strange. Protect the master. Kill. In an instant, some powerful alchemists, whose strength was quite formidable, strangely had the image of the spirit mystic chicken reflected in their eyes. Their gazes were extremely devout and burning with heat, and their killing intent was exceptionally strong. This is bad. White King Netherwind exchanged looks with his companions, clearly not expecting things to escalate to this point. Xiao Yin, use all your strength to obtain the Soul Divine Source. This place is no longer safe. White King Netherwind shouted towards the distant evil Xiao Yin, and instantly, the previous chaos turned into a united front. Because those who had fallen under the strange control of the spirit mystic chicken had their strength and offensive power greatly enhanced. If they didn't unite, the outcome could be disastrous. All right. Evil Xiao Yin remained silent, nodding with a serious expression as soon as Netherwind's voice fell. Even with Xiao Yin's current strength, he could still fight against the spirit mystic chicken at its peak. However, in order to not expose his plans and goals, Xiao Yin could only obey Netherwind's command. A drop of Soul Divine Source was extremely precious and exactly what Xiao Yin currently lacked. If it meant exchanging that drop for their complete trust, the cost would indeed be too great. More importantly, even now, Xiao Yin still had no idea what the extraterritorial evil clan's intentions or plans were regarding the immortal realm. To blindly hand over a drop of Soul Divine Source like this, whoever it was, it would be painful. Senior, are we really going to let the Soul Divine Source fall into their hands? Seizing the opportunity, evil Xiao Yin glanced at the drop of Soul Divine Source in front of him, and his spiritual consciousness desperately asked, "Naturally. After all, you can't catch the wolf without losing the child." The spirit of the divine artifact responded nonchalantly. "What, still not giving up? Actually, it's not impossible. With just a small trick, I can make sure they can't absorb it. I might even be able to disguise a drop of Soul Divine Source." Seeing Xiao Yan's dejected expression, the spirit of the divine artifact spoke directly. "In that case, please, Senior." After the communication with his spiritual consciousness was completed, evil Xiao Yan's figure flickered like a ghost next to the spirit mystic chicken, and he immediately shot towards the Soul Divine Source with a roar. A mere second-tier reincarnation stage human, the spirit mystic chicken, highly intelligent, sneered at evil Xiao Yan's actions. Its massive wings and countless compound eyes slowly flickered, emitting a terrifying wave of energy that shocked the soul. Crack! Behind the spirit mystic chicken's crown, the void twisted, and a faint crack appeared. Then, a huge hand, covered with black flame evil patterns, slowly reached out. "Not good. Little beast. I'll kill you." In the next moment, the spirit mystic chicken's mouth let out a furious roar, echoing like thunder throughout the entire void. With the crack in the void closing, the black flame storm vanished without a trace. Along with that, the precious Soul Divine Source also vanished. Boom! The mystic chicken of the spirit let out a roar like that of an angry god, turning into waves of otherworldly demonic sounds that deeply pierced the ears of all the powerful figures present. With its strength, none of the alchemists present could resist its pressure. But even with such overwhelming power, it was still humiliated by the fact that a mere human at the second-tier reincarnation stage had taken its Soul Divine Source. This unexpected action by Xiao Yin was like a humiliation to it. The soul power within it surged into a monstrous wave of killing intent, devouring all living beings. Ha ha ha. Now that things have come to this, let's go. Seeing the wicked Xiao Yin successfully claim the prize, the trio of Ming Feng laughed out loud, their overwhelming evil aura spreading, transforming into a streak of black smoke as they followed the path. Now that their goal had been achieved, there was no need to stay. They would take the Soul Divine Source from the evil Xiao Yin and then look for an exit to leave. Everything was perfect. These damnable bastards. To think they used us as bait. Watching the Soul Divine Source being taken, the controlled individuals before them and the enraged mystic chicken of the spirit eye, a sense of impending doom filled the minds of the figures present. Less talk, let's join forces. Otherwise, with so many people under control, and the mystic chicken of the spirit eye in a state of rage, we'll be dead for sure. As for the one who took the Soul Divine Source, he looks quite similar to the Lord of the Infinite Flame Territory, Xiao. We'll settle this score later. Boom. Within the fiery vortex, the boundless tide of souls clashed violently with surging power, spreading out in all directions, turning the entire region into a blazing inferno. The battle raged on. How many would manage to escape this time? On the other side, at the irregular edge of a volcanic crater, four figures once again gathered around. Mingfeng of the White King class, Suimo, and the White King Abyss. The fourth figure was none other than the wicked Xiao, who had already captured the Soul Divine Source. Where is the Soul Divine Source? Mingfeng and the others rushed over, their eyes burning with excitement as they looked at the disheveled Xiao and asked eagerly. Clearly, the fact that Xiao could easily capture the Soul Divine Source was no coincidence. Drip? The wicked Xiao raised his head, glancing at Mingfeng and the others before nodding. He then raised his palm, and a droplet of liquid, nearly transparent like water, slowly oozed out. The Soul Divine Source. Mingfeng's face lit up with joy, and his gaze toward Xiao became filled with satisfaction. So it really is the Soul Divine Source. The White King Abyss, who had always been skeptical of the wicked Xiao, now stared at him in surprise. If Xiao control was fake, then why would he willingly hand over such a precious Soul Divine Source? Now, do you still have any doubts? Holding the Soul Divine Source in his hand, feeling the overwhelming energy emanating from it, Mingfeng's lips curled into a smile as he mockingly looked at the two behind him. Your Excellency is wise. It was only at this moment that the White King Abyss and Suimo finally put down their suspicions and guard against Xiao. Master, although things seem to be moving in the right direction, I have a suggestion. After some thought, the White King Abyss spoke up with a strange expression. Speak. Xiao identity is special. Now that he's under our control, it's a fortunate situation. But to avoid complications, the White King Abyss had a mischievous smile, clearly thinking of something. Silk. In an instant, the spirit-slaying ruler within the wicked Xiao stirred, releasing a potent ancient aura. Let Xiao leave now, and lift our control over him. After the third round of the alchemy exam is over, we can reassert control and let the immortal realm know our grand plan. Otherwise, if we control Xiao for too long, I fear there could be too many variables. The White King Abyss spoke wildly, his voice becoming fiery as he reached the last sentence. Good. Mingfeng, clearly no fool, immediately understood upon hearing the White King Abyss's reasoning. Xiao identity was special, and he possessed the sacred flame. If they kept controlling him, there might be flaws. Crack. With a sound, the three of them took the Soul Divine Source and released their control over the wicked Xiao, turning the evil black flame used to control him into a black bead, leaving it on Xiao body. However, they didn't know that Xiao possessed the demonic cube, something that could cause no hindrance to him and could be shattered effortlessly with a wave of his hand. Silk. It hurts so much. After a long time, Xiao struggled to open his eyes, only to find himself lying on a block of fiery lava, the scorching temperature and the many wounds on his body causing him to furrow his brow. Strange. I clearly remember entering the Ashfire realm to find the Soul Divine Source. How did I end up here? Xiao rubbed his head painfully, trying to recall what happened, but he couldn't remember anything. There should be no problems. Let's look for an exit first. As Xiao was awakening and tending to his injuries, Mingfeng and the others, still uneasy, secretly observed him for a while. After confirming everything was fine, they finally left. Humph. All this pretentiousness. Though it seems this time it might be worth it. Xiao eyes reignited with an endless depth as the sacred flame aura burst forth. At the same time, a droplet of colorless water appeared in his palm, identical to the one before. Soul Divine Source. Senior, do you think this disguise will be discovered? Carefully retracting the Soul Divine Source, Xiao couldn't help but ask. Tisich, although I am not the true spirit of the divine artifact, just a remnant power, how could such insignificant beings possibly detect the presence of the second divine artifact spirit? The spirit of the divine artifact rolled its eyes disdainfully at Xiao Yin, making him feel quite frustrated. Let's go. Once we find the exit, the second trial will be over. Extraterritorial, this time, I will surely crush your plans. Xiao Yin cracked his knuckles and then stood up, heading toward a region in the Ashfire realm where the aura was faint. Gurgle. No way, right? Having just arrived at a desolate volcanic basin, the twisted volcano's crater churned with molten lava. Yet, numerous vicious gazes were fixed on Xiao Yin. Kill. This guy is the one who stole the soul divine source. One after another, murderous voices rang out, like thunder. Hehe, looks like you offended quite a few people while you were under control. The spirit of the divine artifact chuckled, as if enjoying the show. Such a hassle, but even with this number advantage, it's not enough to stop me. Xiao Yin quietly extended both hands, and the glazed sacred flame spread out with a wave of divine aura. Strange. Why does this guy's aura feel completely different now? Before, he was using an evil black flame, but now, this fire is a sacred, glazed flame? What's going on here? Among the crowd, those affected by Xiao Yan's wave of attack stopped in their tracks, staring at him with hostility. I am Xiao Yin, Lord of the Infinite Fire Territory, Master of the Sacred Flame. If you attack me without any reason, I think you've got the wrong person. Xiao Yin put on a puzzled expression, though he didn't make a move to attack. This exit, we'll need to join forces. Let's work together. At that very moment, Hua Qianqian's graceful figure streaked across the sky, accompanied by a clear, melodic sound of Buddhist chants, sweeping through the area. As her presence arrived, the molten lava in the volcano's crater began to churn violently, and a sealed light portal appeared.